This program is made by MPT to enrich the diverse communities throughout our state and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you.
You are looking at the iconic Fairhill Special Event Zone in Cecil County. It's a big sports day here on Maryland Public Television. We're bringing you the fourth and final day of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fairhill, presented by Brown Advisory. Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy Yamada on the MPT Sports Desk. Thanks for joining us. If you're on the go today, you can still catch all the action from Fairhill on your phone or any mobile device. Just go to mpt.org/livestream and click on the button. Okay, let's head out to the Fairhill right now and check in with Austin O'Connor. Austin was the 2023 winner of the Maryland 5-Star. Big win for you, Austin. You were the first Irish rider to win the 5-Star in close to 60 years. Take us back to that day. How challenging was it, and what do you recall about the win?
Oh, sure. The win was a surreal moment in my life. To be here at Maryland, competing and taking part in the 5-Star was an incredible situation. But to go on and win it, as I say, was just surreal and was without doubt the best day of my life.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you were behind after the first competition. Is that right?
Yeah, so I would have been lying about 10th place after dressage, and after the speed and endurance element to cross country, I moved up to 4th, and then I was lucky enough to jump a key round in the stadium behind us, and everybody else, the three that came in after me, because it's all in reverse order of merit, all had some fences down. So I started in the middle of the field and I worked my way up to win.
That's amazing. Now, of the three main competitions, what is the hardest?
Today, we're all like adrenaline junkies in this sport. So the cross country phase, from our point of view, from the public's point of view, is the biggest challenge, and it's where we get our rush, and it's where, you know, primarily the competition is won and lost. Well, not won and lost, but the biggest influence is the cross country day on the Saturday.
Talk to us.
Especially here in Maryland, which is one of the toughest cross-country courses in the world.
Absolutely. And I hear that the course changes every year. Talk about this year's competition. What are you seeing? Are there any surprises?
No, they have a new course designer this year, Pierre from France. He's taken over from the legendary Ian Stark, who did the previous 4 years. He certainly kept the standard very high, but he put his own feel to it, so it was still a tough challenge. But there was changes, and he put his own new mark on it, but it kept to the same standard.
We have less than a minute now before we go. You were riding Colorado Blue when you won. I've heard that you call him the horse of a lifetime. Why is that?
Well, he's been, I've been lucky enough to win here. I've had 4 podium finishes at the 3 biggest competitions in the world. I've had a lot of horses in my life and ride a lot of horses, but these extra special horses to come and win in places like here, they don't come around very often.
Sure.
He's not just a horse; he's a great friend to us, and yeah, I owe him a lot.
So would you say that is key, really, is the relationship between the horse and the rider?
Yeah, ultimately in this sport, it's all about partnership. You've got to trust the horse has got to trust you, and you've just got to be a team.
Okay, Austin, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the last day of competition.
We certainly will. Thank you.
In a moment, we'll talk to the Maryland 5-Star president and CEO. But first, a preview of the charity show jumping event aimed at raising funds for retired thoroughbreds.
They have such a big heart that they want to please, and they're very competitive.
Anita Motion, the founder of the Real Rider Cup, says the off-track thoroughbreds in the charity show jumping event are a sight to behold, along with the industry professionals who are hoping to bring home the win for a good cause.
We have had teams of jockeys, we've had teams of trainers, We've had teams of racing broadcast personalities, so people that are on TV presenting the races. We've had veterinarians.
They share a common goal of raising money for the aftercare and retraining efforts of retired horses. The 3 nonprofit beneficiaries include New Vocations, Beyond the Wire, and the Retired Racehorse Project.
So all of our organizations are going to be utilizing the funds in different ways. For us, one of the biggest things that we do as an organization is an event called the Thoroughbred Makeover, which is a retraining competition, and that's kind of our flagship thing.
Kirsten Green with the Retired Racehorse Project says the thoroughbreds are usually ready to retire after 5 or 6 years of age.
All of those horses have skills that translate over to other things, and that's really what we're trying to promote. You know, it's not like they're thrown away and washed up or anything. It's just, this is just what the life cycle of the thoroughbred breed looks like to us. So we're just really trying to make sure that there's a smooth transition and that there's demand and that these horses get the resources and support that they need to go from one phase of their career to the next.
Most horses have a very productive second career in them, and they do live some of them till they're 30 years plus. So there's a lot of time left after their racing career, which needs to be filled. And, you know, they can live very productive lives for a long time, and they are, you know, would be very suitable for any discipline.
And though it may be a charity event, Motion says the riders take the competition seriously.
It's often the combination of confidence and skill. You have to get around as quickly as you can and as clean as you can, because for every rail that you hit or knock down, you add 4 seconds to your time. Every refusal or run out is another 4 seconds.
A real show that will ultimately benefit these horses well after their days competing in the arena. Joining us now is the Mars, Maryland 5-star president and CEO, Jeff Newman. Jeff, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Tell us how this event has really grown in the last 5 years. You were there from the very beginning.
Yeah, so first off, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. Maryland Public Television has been a great partner of the event since the start. And so our first year was 2021, coming off the pandemic. And each year we've grown, and now we're at over 32,000 people. You know, we're broadcast, live streamed all over the world, regionally here with Maryland Public Television. So it's just an event that's really leapfrogged pretty significantly in a very short period of time.
And for spectators, this is really special because this is really one of only 2 5-star equestrian events in the U.S., right?
And just the 7th worldwide. So we became the 7th back in 2020 when we were given the opportunity to host this 5-star. 5-star is the pinnacle of the sport of eventing. It's the highest level. It's basically the grand slam of the sports. So yes, we feel great. Maryland has something really unique and special here that there's only 2 in the U.S. and 7 in the world.
Now, Maryland has become a hub of equestrian activity, and this also coincides with Maryland Horse Month, is my understanding. But why has Maryland become so big in the industry?
Well, first off, there are more horses per square mile in Maryland than any other state. And Cecil County also has more horses per square mile than most counties. So it's a perfect location to host this type of event. And the sport of eventing, actually, Maryland has more eventing competitions than any other state as well. So add all those together and it's the perfect location.
Now let's talk about the competition. This is really the ultimate test, not just for the horses, but the riders as well.
Yes, so think about Major League Baseball. Like, we're Major League Baseball. There's a lot other levels underneath. There's 4-star, 3-star, 2, 1, and beginner. So 5-star is the top of the sport. It's the Grand Slam. So you have to have the best of the best, both as from the horse side as well as the rider side. And what makes it unique is the 2 have to compete together equally as one. And what even makes it more special is men and women compete together on the same stage together, competing for the prize. So it really is a chance. The sport came around from really to get horses and riders ready for battle. It was a cavalry test. So it starts with dressage, which really tests the the technique of the horse and rider. And then yesterday when we had the cross country, that's about the endurance and the ability to go through water and trees, etc. And then show jumping culminates today with the agility. So all three of those combined is really just testing the horse and the rider that they can do all of these skills together at once, over the course of these last 3 days.
I heard you say this is similar to an Ironman, essentially, right? They have to be good at all of these events.
Exactly. It's an equestrian triathlon. So like a triathlon, like Ironman competition, certain horses and riders, they may be better at one phase than the other, but you have to be good at all three, and that's what makes it special. So lowest score wins, like golf, the least penalty points from not making the time. Obviously, if horse and rider, if there was an incident where a rider fell off, you're out of the competition. So that's what culminates today. So it really is exciting. You get sort of 3 chapters by seeing dressage, cross country, and then show jumping. So it's what makes it sport competition versus racing.
Tell us more about the participants, the riders.
So they come from all over the world, yeah. So we've had riders from Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, obviously to compete against the U.S. So it's sort of like a Ryder Cup, if you will, of equestrian sport. So every country wants to showcase that they're obviously the preeminent equestrian sport country. So they come from all over to compete. So it's pretty exciting.
And you said that some of the horses come from overseas as well.
They do. They hitch a ride on commercial as well as cargo planes, depends upon the time of year. But it's a significant process. They come by plane, and then we have ground transportation that takes them from quarantine, and then they arrive at the site and hopefully ready to compete.
Absolutely. What do you anticipate to be the impact of the 5-star on the state, but also particularly Cecil County?
So last year, the economic impact was just over 19 million. So between all of the visitors, heads and beds, is an event you have to drive to. So all the gas and everything that comes with coming to an outdoor event. But it's significant. And Cecil County has a tremendous amount of restaurants and bars and places that you can go while you're here. So our motto is come for the event, stay for the experience. And we want to be the place to be in October. So there's a lot to do here in Cecil County, but it creates economic impact for the state. So obviously having Maryland Public Television broadcast it, live stream it, certainly gets awareness. And then we want people to come out. And once they come out, they're going to be hooked.
And for the spectators, there's really a lot more to do and see beyond just the competition, right?
Sure. So throughout the week, we've had special events. We have a local fresh food fest today showcasing local growers. We have Kids Corner. We have pony racing. We have our Corgi Cup today with 125 Corgis lined up. So there's something for everyone, and families can come out, a beautiful fall time of year in Cecil County, and they can bring their dog and really the whole family.
Let's talk about that Corgi Cup. I have seen footage of it, and it is hysterical. I mean, it's a highlight for a lot of people, one of the highlights.
Oh, people buy tickets just to see the Corgis. It really is something, again, we want to bring audiences that are not just equestrian fans. So we try to have something for everyone, and who doesn't like dogs?
What do you anticipate? Is there anything new that you'd like to bring to this 5-star event in the future?
Well, I just want to continue to create what this means to Maryland. I think a lot of people realize that the Preakness, for example, is a prize of the state. We want people to think the same way about the Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill. This is a big deal for Maryland. So I think we just want to create and build that prestige, and we want people to really come out and see something that's great for Maryland.
And for the spectators, do people come from all over?
Yeah, so I mentioned it before. It's like tennis and golf, where people want to see a Grand Slam. So a lot of the equestrian fans and eventing fans from all over the world, they'll say, I want to check the box that I've been to all of them. So it brings people from internationally, nationally, and regionally, and of course here in Cecil County. So that's the goal, is we want people to come to Maryland, spend their dollars in Maryland, create that economic impact, while at the same time just having a real fun time in Cecil County.
Jeff Newman with the Mars Maryland 5-star. You're the president and CEO. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So let's break it down. 5-star is a 4-day event that tests both the overall ability of the horse as well as the skill and judgment of the rider. The first phase is dressage, which takes place over 2 days and shows the relationship between horse and rider with an emphasis on obedience and harmony. Phase 2 took place yesterday with cross country, a nearly 4-mile test of endurance with about 50 jumps. Today's the final phase, show jumping, where penalties are incurred for knocking down a jump, failing to jump, or exceeding the time limit. The horse and rider with the least number of combined penalties is the winner. When you're watching the Maryland 5-star competition, you'll notice the riders wearing special gear. Our Charles Robinson goes shopping to find out what kind of gear they need to compete.
We're so lucky that the 5-star is right down the road from us. We are a retailer of all the things that 5-star riders use. So knowing that one of the 7 biggest events in the world is in our backyard, it was just a no-brainer.
It has been a windfall for Kimberly Chick and her husband, who own Fair Hills Saddlery. In addition to having a brick and mortar store, they also set up shop on the site at the Maryland 5-star.
There's 2 main disciplines of the big umbrella of horseback riding. So you see the English side, which is what we'll see at the 5-star. And then there's Western riding, which when you think of the Wild West or cowboys, that's more the style that they ride in. So there's definitely equipment differences, apparel differences, safety equipment differences. So we primarily focus here on the English discipline.
Well, I just want to let everybody know I'm 6'3" tall, and I've asked them to dress me or at least get me close enough to show you what it all looks like. So let's go over here and take a look.
Okay.
So now I'm trying to get ready to ride cross country. Why don't you tell everybody what I have on?
Great. You have 2 very important pieces of equipment. You have a hard shell, which is required equipment for all riders out on cross country. This protects your bones and internal organs if you fall off, get stepped on, rolled over on. Super great piece of equipment. And then on top, we've put an air vest, which is optional equipment. So just like you have an airbag in your car, this is an airbag while you ride horses. So if you depart your horse unexpectedly, this will explode in less than a second and you have a nice airbag to land on.
Well, this is just the beginning of the process because there's some other gear that you have to wear.
We need tall boots. So all riders wear a nice pair of tall boots. A new feature is they zipper up the back, which ensures a really great fit.
And when you put it all together, what does it look like?
We have this great mannequin. This is all together with your show shirt, a show tie, a nice tailored coat, and then you'll have your pants and boots on the bottom.
So let's try on this hat.
Okay, so we're gonna put on the Charles Owen Halo. This is a very popular helmet amongst the riders you'll see at the 5-star. There you are, sir. Excellent.
Ta-da.
We ship nationwide, Alaska, Puerto Rico, Hawaii. We offer safety fitting services worldwide. I've done Zoom fittings in Japan and South Africa for people that just need support with their safety equipment. So we schedule a Zoom, we talk, and help them find the best items for their needs. We are one of the largest helmet retailers in the country, and that's something we're very proud of. Right here in the beginning of the wall are helmets from Charles Owen. They are a leader in safety and innovation within the safety world. And most of these helmets, this row above, are all handmade in the UK. And I've been in their factory and I've watched the process, and it's really impressive to watch.
The store has a plethora of materials for the novice and experienced riders. Chick reminds me stores like this are dwindling, yet she is surviving. In Elkton, Maryland, I'm Charles Robinson for the MPT Sports Desk.
Joining us now is the Maryland 5-star competition director, Joni Morris. Welcome, Joni. Tell us a little more about the competition and how the events differ.
Sure. So this is one of 7 5-star events in the world, and they're very difficult to qualify for. So you're looking at the best of the best here. The 3 phases, so it's a triathlon. These horses are the ultimate athletes, in the opinion of many, because they have to do 3 very different phases, and the culmination of those phases ends up being their score. So the dressage is the first phase. That's what gives them their base penalty score. All the horses and riders do the same movement, so they're judged against a test versus each other in theory, like in figure skating when everyone does the same pattern. And then the next day is cross country, where there's an optimum time, so it's not like a race. Basically, the course is measured, there's a designated speed, and the horses that complete the course with no penalties closest to that time add no points to their dressage score. It then culminates on Sunday, which is the most exciting day as far as the wrap-up, because it's a show jumping course. It requires a huge amount of detailed attention. It's really technical, and you obviously want to add no penalties to that score, and the lowest score wins. So you're asking a horse to basically figure skate, run a marathon, and then come back and do an agility course.
And I imagine that this really does require so much of the horses and the riders, given that it's back to back. It's not that they don't have a lot of downtime between these events.
No, they don't. I mean, letting the horses rest and have that sort of downtime between the days is really important. But these horses are taken care of like better than you could even imagine. So they have grooms that travel with them that make sure that they have everything that they want and need. They have physios that work on them. So they get treated like the elite athletes they are. And the horses and riders have a huge amount of experience together at all the competitions that build up to these events. So they come up with a system that works to produce the horses to get them to have their best performance on any given day.
Are horses in general, do they like to please? Are they easy to train for these kind of events?
The best horses are what we call the most trainable. So as you know, to be the best eventing horses in the world, they have to be really good athletes, obviously, but it's no good if they're a really good athlete, but they're not really interested in doing what you want them to do. So these horses are highly trainable, the ones that you're seeing here, and they love this sport. It takes a long time to get the experience and the training to compete at the highest level of the sport. So these horses and riders are working together day in, day out. Like I said, the grooms are working with them, day in and day out, taking care of them, figuring out what makes them tick, what they need to perform at their best. And these horses, they enjoy the sport, and they just, you see them getting ready for cross country, and like they light up and they're really excited, and then they come out here and they're super focused for the show jumping, and it's pretty cool. And we've been following some of these horses for a long time. Some of them competed at the 3-star here, in previous years, or some of the horses are coming up through the young event horse program into the 3-star and 5-star level. So you see them develop, and it's like watching kids grow up, and all of a sudden they're, you're seeing them on the world stage and watching them excel, and it's really cool.
Generally speaking, how old are these horses when they're most competitive?
About 12 would be the sweet spot, but I mean, that would be the average age, but there's some, 10-year-olds and then up to 17, 18-year-old horses. There is some real longevity in the horses doing this, which is a testament, again, to how well they're taken care of and how much they enjoy the sport. And, the surfaces they compete on, like here at Fair Hill, I mean, this turf is second to none. You can see how green it is. I mean, you walk on it and it's like a spongy cushion. And the main arenas that they show jump and do their dressage on are the same. It's a science project to get these surfaces all prepared, and we have a huge team that works on that, and that makes it much easier on the horses, to run on these good surfaces than, in the old days when it was just however the ground was. Well, now we're out here watering and aerating and preparing everything to make it perfect, so the horses get the absolute best facilities to perform on.
I imagine the weather plays a role in the competition.
Absolutely. Last year we had a horrible drought all summer and into the early fall. And we actually put 300,000 gallons of water on the surfaces between the arenas and the cross-country course for the horses to compete on. And it was a Herculean effort. I mean, the team that works on this event, they're flat out anyways, and this was a whole added component. This year the weather's been a little bit kinder to us, but not as much rain as we would have liked. So again, there's been tons of preparation and work going into it. But the competition happens, rain or shine. So depending on it's an outdoor sport, and we have diehard fans that come out no matter what, and the horses and riders just respond to it. But it can certainly change the nature of the competition. If it's really, really wet and the ground's muddy, then maybe the cross-country course runs a little bit slower and you have to take a little bit more time. But the turf here is so good that we're really fortunate that it seems to be able to withstand just about anything Mother Nature could throw at us.
You mentioned about the horse and the rider, that relationship. How important is chemistry when it comes to competing?
It's so critical. I mean, these horses, they know their people, they know their job, and it takes a long time to prepare a horse to get to this level. There's a qualifying process you have to go through. So, Nancy, you couldn't just say, oh, I think I'm going to take up eventing and buy a 5-star horse and take it to the event next year without going through all the other levels that you have to build up to get to this point. So that starts at the 1- and 2-star level, then the 3-star like we have here. 4-star is sort of the 4- and 5-star are the advanced, the highest level of the sport, but 5-star really is the pinnacle. And producing these horses takes 6-7 years to get them to this level. So, you buy a 4-year-old horse like some of the ones we had at the young event horse competition here, and you think, okay, so in 6 years, maybe they'll be here at the 5-star. But that's probably as about as quickly as you could get them here. Maybe 5 years, but probably 6 years. So, and of course, horses get sold, or a horse might not be suitable for one rider and will get, sold to another rider and might really operate for that rider in a way differently than it did for another rider. They're individuals, right? And so they all have different personalities, and it's just about finding the right fit and then managing them accordingly and getting them, to these major events. And it's a big deal to get them to one of these major events, and we have horses that year in and year out keep returning to the level, and it's pretty cool to see them, once they're that experienced and they really enjoy what they're doing and enjoy the relationship they have with their rider.
It's so interesting to me that men and women compete in the same events. You don't see that too often in other sports.
No, you don't. I mean, there's a few other sports, like sailing is the same way in certain sailing sports, but it's really unique. But it's not a sport where being like just strong is the answer. Like it's because there's so much to it and there's such a variety of skills needed to do it. You can see people of all, like, tall people, small people, women, men, everyone can compete equally. We've had Olympic champions, female and male, and over the years, and that's just, I don't think anyone thinks about that going in, like, oh, well, that rider is male or female, therefore they would obviously have an advantage or a disadvantage. It's really who's the best on the day. It's also a sport where, people compete from, all ages, right? I mean, we still have people vying for these top spots on our teams, and they're in their early 60s. So it's not, like there's some sports where younger is better, and I think this is a sport where, yes, obviously, physically when you're younger, you're a little bit more agile. You maybe don't have as many bumps and bruises, but experience plays a huge part in this because there's no two courses are the same, no two horses are the same. So the more you do it, the more experience you get, and the more you're ready for anything that it can throw at you. So not only is it men and women competing equally, but it's very it's cross-generational, in that regard as well.
Does the course change year to year?
Every year, yeah. So the basic track that the 4-mile track that the horses run on, that is prepared by the team, and the turf, that stays pretty similar. And we reuse certain water complexes and obstacles, but they all get moved around, and the questions are all different. So you could bring a horse 5 years in a row, and it would be 5 very different courses that they would jump. The dressage test is different every year, and then the show jumping track is brand new every year too. So it's not like people do like to go to all the different events for the experience, and there's, go to Europe and compete, but you could compete at a 5-star over and over again, and it would be a pretty different experience every time.
And who's judging the competition?
So the judges we have a panel of judges that we work with our international federation. So there's 3 judges called the ground jury, and they're, a lot of times have competed at the highest level. They're all very, very knowledgeable in the sport, from England and the US this year. So we have a variety that way, but it's a pretty international sport. And they judge the dressage, and then they oversee the balance of the competition as well. Cross country is not judged as far as like who looked the most stylish when they did it. It's about jumping clear, and being safe and not adding any penalties, but they do oversee the entire competition.
How close can spectators get to the competitors and the horses?
They can get pretty close. I mean, they can stand right on the ropes of the galloping lanes when they're going around the cross country, and sit right up on the rail for the show jumping. But we also have we've heard feedback over the years at major events, but they just want to touch a horse. They want to interact with the horse. And so we have a Hall of Champions here, which it's former horses, some which have competed at the 5-star in the past, but we have, horses that have been to the Olympics, horses that have won major events, and they're down in the infield, and you can go down there, feed them treats, interact with them. Some of the riders will be down there, so you can talk to maybe Boyd Martin or Philip Dutton, because their horses are down there. So it's a pretty big deal, and they're horses that are very famous in their universe. So they're household names in the eventing community.
Okay, Joni Morris, 5-star competition director. Thanks so much for your perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the MPT Sports Desk. For everyone on the team, I'm Nancy Amata. Don't go anywhere. Our coverage of the Mars, Maryland 5-star begins right now.
Well, a very warm welcome to the final day of competition here at Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. It all happened yesterday out on Pierre Legupil's course, but today we will find out who will be named the 2025 Maryland 5-Star champion. Well, Frankie, big day yesterday, bigger day today. What are your thoughts on moving into the final day of competition?
Well, you know, it was a really big, tricky track that they tackled out there yesterday, and I think these horses really looked on form. The ground was amazing, and we saw, you know, mixed bag of trouble all around Pierre's track, as you would expect to find at this 5-star level. But today is a new day, and it's the day in which our champions are made and crowned here in the big ring. There's a lot of rails that fell earlier in our 3-star division, and I think you're going to see the same here with a lot of leaderboard shakeups. Some horses who maybe aren't traditionally the best show jumpers in the field, and not a ton of breathing room at the top, Sinead.
Well, we have a good video here of what happened over the last 2 days of sport. Well, welcome back to day 2 of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. And here we have another one that could very quickly challenge that leaderboard. One of the forecasted top placing horses here at the Mars Maryland 5-Star, Monica Spencer and her beautiful thoroughbred Artist, just 14 years old, by Guillotine out of Maximore by Bosgrado.
Very typey horse, incredible uphill, lovely expression I find, and a nice freedom in the shoulders. Very pleasant picture. So there's a nice engagement here. The hind leg comes nicely forwards and under, and especially for, is this a full thoroughbred?
Full thoroughbred.
Wow.
I know.
Very, very classy horse. Incredible.
And Monica saw this horse as, I believe, a 4-year-old at a competition across the field and kind of said, that has to be mine. And
yeah,
here we are.
I can see why. An absolutely lovely bend around her right leg, steady. Maintains the uphill feeling, what should be in the half pass, because it is a collective exercise. Lovely shoulder in, nice 3 tracks, fluently over into the half pass to the left. Rider sits nicely in the center. Yeah, and especially for a thoroughbred, great expression in that extension. Wonderful. Nice halt. Beautiful run. Tiny little bit of a resistance in that reinback. You could see that. She managed it very well.
Monica, based here in the United States, one of the Kiwi riders that decided to come this side, but
So even here for a thoroughbred, especially here in the walk, that's when they have a tendency to tense up more, show shorter strides. Lovely stride. Seeking for the bit. Great march, holds the rhythm there. See how he goes in the canter, nicely done. Very expressive, beautiful canter. Covers nicely ground, it didn't speed up, it didn't get hurried. Beautiful change, nice and calm. Stayed in the same rhythm. There, lost a tiny little bit of the bend. But now I'm being very critical. And again, you have that lovely expression. Very bold, nicely forwards, good ground cover. Well held in the counter canter. Beautiful change. What an expressive horse. He's very lucky with this horse. There's, he could follow that bit a little tiny bit better, in my opinion. So he's not quite seeking for the connection forwards.
Well, I think we're getting close to seeing our first horse maybe crack that 30 barrier, with Taylor atop of the leaderboard sitting on a 30.4.
Great, that's a nice change again. Very clean test.
Well, Artis has had 14 sub-30s at 4 and 5 star.
And what a beautiful expression that the horse has throughout the whole entire test. Nice transition to the trot. Well done. Perfectly straight. Nice. Well done.
Well, the crowd goes wild here out at Mars Maryland 5-star. Pretty convincing that we're going to have a new leader. Taylor didn't get to enjoy that podium spot for too long as Monica and her longtime partner Artis just laid down the gauntlet here at the Mars Maryland 5-star.
Super pleasant test to watch.
I would go for a bigger adjective than that, Baron. Pleasant.
Wonderful.
That's getting better. It's hard to get these dressage guys excited. And the crowd giving her a well-deserved cheer.
Go, crowd.
And if you are liking what you see here and want to listen to more, come here, get a radio, Taylor Harris Insurance Radio. You can have us in your ear the whole week so you can hear what's going on, but it's all to see here at the Alltech Atwood Arena.
Lovely expression. And that horse is so game and to play in the ring with her.
It is a new personal best for Monica Spencer.
And just really a master of his own energy, right impulsion, right readiness, right timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look
Beautiful
at the
changes.
clear 3 beats. The changes are wonderful. Look how effortless that is. And especially as we said, these horses are so fit and they are tense, and how he carried himself throughout that whole test. It was absolutely wonderful.
And she hops right off as a score comes in, and new leader 23.7. She did not just tip past that barrier, she blasted through it. She puts a healthy margin for herself up at the top of the leaderboard, and Baron, it truly was in a class of its own.
Yes, well deserved.
We have our final standings here at top of the leaderboard. Monica Spencer and Artis, followed closely by Caroline Pamuchku and HSH Blake. Third place, Swiss rider Felix Vogue and Cartagena. Boyd Martin closely behind on Commando 3. Then a 4 tied with Janelle Price and Chile Midnight Star. And sixth place, another Kiwi face, Taylor Mason and Centennial. Seventh there again, Boyd Martin and Luke 140. Eighth again, Caroline Pamuchku, and she's the one. Ninth place, Mia Phelps, and 10th place, Jenny Brannigan and Effie Lifestyle. Right outside the top 10, Buck Davidson, Fully Candyman. 12th, Canadian, Lindsay Transnell and Basie Rouge. 13th, Mary Beth Davis, Imperio Magic. And again, 3 and tied at the top, 20, Caroline Pamuchku, HSH Tolan King, followed by Shannon Lilly, Alexander Bragg, Canada's Jessica Phoenix. 17th place, Will Faudree, Mama's Magic Way. And rounding out there, we have Arden Wildison, Sunday Times. Australians, Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. It was an exciting day here at Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill as 22 combinations took on Pierre Leguple's 5-star track. And here we have it. In first place, headed out of the box, this is Monica Spencer and Artis. They have a 4.5 lead heading into the cross country, and this is one of the biggest first phase margins across 112 5-star events since 2008.
And going by the form book with this combination, we should be in for a treat, I would hope.
You know, it was fascinating watching the dressage yesterday, Austin, because he just looks so much even stronger than he has in times past. He's 14 years old. He's always been a beautiful mover. The dressage has always been a nice phase for him, but he just looked like he had another level of fitness and strength to him.
I think you find that with a lot of event horses, though. The more they go on, the stronger, the more, especially what I call the blood horses. If you're lucky enough to keep up the grades, they keep maturing, they keep getting stronger the whole way. But he was stunning on the flat.
You know, she'll know that there are a lot of jumps to jump. Look at that shot. I mean, talk about a wingspan.
But she'll have had lots of feedback now. She'll have her plan. She'll have had feedback and she'll know exactly what she's intending to do.
You know, for their last 3 5-stars, they have added 0.8 time penalties, 2 seconds at Kentucky, 8.4 time at Burley, and 12.4 time at Kentucky. And it looks like Taylor has finished adding 13 seconds of time, but she does have 60 jump penalties on the board there. So that will have her on 95.6, but definitely some of those penalties under investigation. So we'll get back to you as soon as we know more, as we have Monica. First big question.
Perfect. She's flying. She's definitely a lady on a mission.
Well, talking about opportunities that are put out in front of you, she knows that this, of any horse in the field, is capable of jumping a clear here and a fast clear. This is such a good partnership. She's brought the horse through the grades since he was a 4-year-old. She's been all over the world with him. Woo.
Was not a really fun ride out there, it would seem,
And we see here that Mary Bess has decided to call it a day, unfortunately, with Imperial Magic. Put her hand up in the air. We see on the board that there was a 20, but we'll get more to you when we hear it. But both horse and rider, safe and sound, just saving it for another day, as we have Monica at Yanmar.
Copybook stuff.
You know, a few of these horses, this horse, Jenny Brannigan's horse, actually Alexander Bragg's horse, Will Fawdry's horse, made such easy work of that question. There was never a question about it.
There's never a question, but I think, you know, the 4 horses you've mentioned, you've got to appreciate they've got plenty miles in the clock. It's not their first rodeo, as you said earlier, and that's a big help. And there you just see the difference in the confidence in the jump in compared to our previous 2 horses. It's just something he does every day of the week.
Come down. She looks behind. She must have heard him just rattle that a little bit, but it all looks safe and good. And here we have Brooke Frascianti starting slightly out of order. She had a little bit of an issue with a fall in the warm-up, but she takes off on her second 5-star here with Cooley Space Gray. Monica flying past the 3-star oxer there that got jumped earlier. Beautiful shot here. You can see the crowds lining up out, watching a beautiful day of sport. Down there you've got Pierre's puzzles. Monica heads down.
Just 2 or 3 of these combinations is just making you ride reactively, isn't it? It's, you know, good cross-country reactive riding.
And she knows she's got a little bit of time there, so she really sets up, makes sure she gets those efforts done. And it's interesting watching those horses there, because Pierre had said, I spoke to him on Wednesday about the track, and he said that brush is really soft. The horses will just push through it. And you see that little hesitation while the horses are reading it, and they do just wrap right around it.
And interestingly, Monica is about 5 seconds up on the clock now, so yeah, she's right there.
Maybe I'll take it back. I'll put my 2 clears back on the table. You know, but this is a fast horse too, Austin. I mean, it's hard to ride. As you know, with your horse, it's hard to ride a fast horse slow.
Yeah, it is, and I say they know each other so well, and it's just naturally blood. It just makes the job an awful lot easier. So he's coming up this long hill here, and he's just in a canter. It's a good feeling. But I've watched Monica for a few years now, and she must work very hard at the game, because she's just matured as a rider and developed. And this is the result.
You know, and she is the coolest girl, and she's made fast friends here and based with several of the top riders, one always looking for you know, to ride with the best, and that's what she's done, and she's turning into one of the best. You can see the water before her, being really careful, making sure those bounces are on pins, and here she sets up for this big drop.
Yeah, that was always a bit of a danger there. You know, it's 3 strides, 4 strides. You got there in the 3.5, but hey, that happens, and you got away with
it. And there's that next gear.
Yeah, that's some feeling, isn't it?
Especially when there's just 2 minutes left and a few jumping efforts between you and being on the top of the podium at the end of cross-country day here. She is turning onto the line here, which caused Caroline some grief.
Yeah.
And still full of running. One last big combination. We saw Will Faudree unfortunately have a fall here earlier. We saw Alex Bragg unfortunately come to the end of his day here. Will she go straight? And I think we might be seeing another clear inside the time, Austin.
Yeah, and deservedly so by the looks of it. It's been,
she is flying home. 3 more efforts left to jump. And he looks like he could go again.
Still got to jump these last ones. Still got to be jumped.
The real deal, yeah, the good deal.
Decide here which table you're going to jump. And then this small pinned narrow. It's easy work. She is going to be well within the time.
Well within. Great stuff, and you're looking at a true 5-star horse here, and that's what this level is all about.
What does it feel like there? Excitement, relief? What's the feeling?
It's just an unbelievable buzz, isn't it? Of course it's relief, because the pressure at this level is huge. But it's just, it's just the best feeling in the world.
A beautiful day of sport there off after the cross country. Monica Spencer sits atop of the leaderboard, followed by Swiss rider Felix Vogue, third place. USA, Mia Farley. Again, USA, Jenny Brannigan. USA, Boyd Martin. Sophia Hill rounding out that top 6 on a 46.2. Seventh place, New Zealand's Taylor Mason. Caroline Pamuchku again in 8th. Rounding out the top 10, Janelle Price, Chile Morning Star.
Yeah, I would say it ranks pretty high up there. I think I'm just in shock right now and need a second to breathe. So it rode to plan. It rode what Philip and Peter Wild said it would ride like, and it's pretty rare when that happens. So I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, he was so good out there. He tried his little guts out for me. He galloped around. Gosh, he was fast. He just ate up those hills, no worries. And yeah, really tried through all the combinations. I was very happy.
She's tough. She's real tough. I mean, it walked tough, and I mean, we were, all the riders, once they walked it the first time, we were thinking, oh yeah, this is a big course. Came here for a big course and definitely got it.
I just let him run on the gallops this time and he just ran, and I was able to go slow all the way home. So I just think this horse has more speed than I've ever used. So.
I always thought it was going to be a tall order for the horse today. It was a big step up, but, the competitor in me is naturally a bit disappointed to have had the stop at the top water there and, slightly kicking myself because I was coming in thinking, should I or shouldn't I? But, again, I wanted to stay competitive, and actually I was doing pretty well on the clock up to that point.
There's no better horse for me to go out and do it. I never have a worry about her. She cannot do anything. You can hear the coffin, you can even make it harder. She would do it, but I was more worried about how I can handle it.
I think Phelps in particular, the terrain really suits him. Like, I know, like, a lot of horses can't keep pulling up the hill, but I know, like, he gets to the bottom and he's, like, locked in and keeps going up.
I mean, it was a very, very challenging track. Really, the 5-star level is meant to be the hardest level in the sport, and I can assure you this course is one of the more difficult ones I've gone around. Really, really pleased with my horse, Connor. He really dug deep and fought his way around and jumped a good round.
Well, that was yesterday, but when we come back, we will see who will be crowned the 2025 champion at Mars, Maryland, 5-star at Fairhill, presented by Brown Advisory.
University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. In today's search for environmental solutions, trust the institution with 100 years of pioneering research in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and around the world.
When your job is your passion, it's more than a paycheck. It's about pride and purpose.
I just try to give something back and pass something on. It's an understatement to say those are life-changing things for people.
It's a craft and a calling.
You feel like you're making a difference. I'm here because of you.
And the rewards can be sweet.
I love it. I love what I do.
Don't miss an all-new season of Made in Maryland. Wednesday nights at 7 on MPT or stream on the PBS app.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more. The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M. Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, and tech, and sound. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources is proud to sponsor and host the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill. Maryland state parks and natural resource areas provide ideal places to bring your family, friends, and horses. We are honored to welcome you to our trails. We'd like to thank the following partners: Select Event Group, Quarry View Building Group, Yanmar, Lemieux, and Great Wolf Lodge.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star, presented by Brown Advisory, is being brought to you by Mars Equestrian, a better world for horses, pets, and people. By Brown Advisory, invest in the present to raise the future. And by Cecil County. Discover Cecil County, Maryland, where food and adventure bring people together.
Well, welcome back to the final day here at Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. I'm Sinead Halpin-Maynard, joined here by legend Ian Stark. Well, what a day it was yesterday, where it really tested the pedigree and the preparation for the horses out there on Pierre Le Grouple's track. Ian, you were out there watching these horses yesterday. What did they look like when they finished, and how are they going to come in today?
I think they looked really good when they finished, actually. I think probably the best I've seen here at Maryland at the 5-Star. I think the riders know it's going to be a tough track. There's a lot of hills, a lot of terrain, but they were galloping at the end. The majority of them were still galloping at the end. There was the odd one or two getting a little bit fatigued, but in general they pulled up well. So I would hope that they'd come out. They looked good at the jog this morning. They hope that they would come out and feel quite fresh. And there's a bit of wind getting up now, and the horses like the temperature. It's not too hot, so it should just perk them up a little bit. It might make it more spooky.
Well, we're going to throw down to the third member of our team that's down at the in-gate, Frankie Theriot-Stutes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. The scene is set, and you can absolutely feel the buzz as we get ready to figure out who our 2025 champion is going to be here in the Mars Maryland 5-Star. I'm down here by the final warm-up, and people will have a very crafted plan going into this warm-up. Obviously, you can see it's a very windy day out here and a lot of excitement, but these horses went a long way yesterday, so their plan will be a little bit different in this final warm-up as it may have been in the past. They'll just have a few jumping efforts, and everybody will know what they need to do to get the job done, and then it's all down to business in the main ring. Back to you guys to get us underway.
Well, it is a breezy 73 degrees out here, a beautiful day for horse sport. As you see all the flags blowing in the wind here, we have 7 different nations represented here in Cecil County at the 5-Star. The crowds are filled. It is really the place to be, Ian.
It certainly is, and here's the sun coming out again. It's a beautiful day. The wind may distract one or two of the horses when they're in the show jumping, because there's a bit of tents flapping and banners flapping, and the horses can easily be distracted because there's a lot of distractions in there with lots of spectators surrounding the entire arena. We saw one or two of the younger horses earlier today in the 3-Star. They were definitely a little bit spooked when they came in, but it's a great experience for them. This is what it should be, the atmosphere, getting used to the electricity in the air, and it puts a lot of pressure on the horses and the riders. So it's the ones with the coolest nerve that come out top at the end of the day. So I think we've got a very exciting hour and a bit ahead of us with some exciting jumping.
Well, this will be the order of go. We have USA's Caroline Pamushku kicking us off with one of 2 rides for her, followed by Canada's Lindsay Transell, Shannon Lilly. Then down the order, New Zealand's Janelle Price, followed by USA's Arden Wilderson. Rounding out the top 6, New Zealand's Kayla Mason and Centennial. And we will have Australia's long trip for her, Sophia Hill. Again, followed by Caroline's second ride, HSH Blake and Paris Partner. USA's Boyd Martin 9th, and that 10th person in the arena. The ride of the day, Mo said, Jenny Brannigan's FE Lifestyle. And there we have 13 riders to enter today. Will it be Monica Spencer, who is crowned the Maryland 5-Star champion? There we have a look at all of our sponsor chalets and Michelle Valancourt's beautiful track. 82 seconds will be the time allowed on this perfect course. I was chatting with Michelle, and he said it actually is a perfect course. There are 16 jumping efforts. 8 of those efforts are oxers. 8 of those efforts are verticals. 4 of the 8 oxers are off the left lead. 4 of those oxers are off the right lead. 4 of those verticals off the left lead. 4 off the right. So truly a perfect course that Michelle Valancourt has prepared for Maryland 5-star, as we are about to kick things off with USA. Caroline Pamushku on HSH Tolan King. The crowd giving her a warm welcome as we're kicking things off the 5th running of Maryland's 5-star here.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Sinead. It is the perfect track. It looks great. It's big. The oxes are all very square. There's a lot to do out there, but it's very fair in the distances and the related striding. And as you say, it's equally coming off both reins, so we're testing the horses' adjustability and suppleness after the tougher day yesterday on the cross-country course.
Caroline is jumping slightly out of order because she has 2 horses in the class. HSH Tolan King sitting right outside the top 10 in 11th place.
And Caroline had a very busy day yesterday with 3 horses round the 5-star. For many, many years, riders were only allowed to ride 2, but it's only in recent years that they've accepted 3 for each rider if they have the horses in their stable. Ooh, there's a rail gone. It's just a little bit keen there, coming down to the oxer, coming towards us in the commentating box.
A very short 5 strides down to the living pool. Again, that comes down. HSH Tolan King just being a little argumentative. At just 10 years old, this was a big outing for him.
I was just thinking that exact thing, that he's not that experienced. I think he's his first 5-star, and he performed really well yesterday. He had an early run out on the cross-country course, but Caroline was very gutsy and went all the straight routes after that, and the horse answered all the questions. And actually, interestingly to me, he's beginning to relax more as the round's going on, and he's getting a little bit softer in his frame and the neck, so he's allowing himself to take more time in the air.
So she comes down to the final question. The time will be good. She just slips right under that time, and she will add 8 penalties to her score, and there she will finish her 5-star with a newly minted 5-star horse in HSH Tolan King. Big Pats.
She has to be happy with that. That's fantastic. You just see him as he comes down this line, related. He's just a little bit argumentative and tight in the rein, and that just caused him to dangle his legs a little bit. But as I say, he went better and better as the round went on, and a real star for the future. She has to be delighted with him.
Yeah, I think, like you said, a big day for her yesterday with 3 first-time 5-star horses. So I think a lot to like about this weekend as we see this really beautiful horse.
And what was great for me is, Caroline's always been a very brave, gutsy cross-country rider. Sometimes gone a little bit quickly, but she gave all her horses the time that they needed and deserved, and she gave them really good rides.
Well, with that, we're going to head down to Frankie, who is with Jeff Newman.
Well, Jeff, what an event you guys have produced. It's absolutely incredible. Been getting bigger and better every single year somehow. And tell us about this event.
I mean, it's our 5th year. It needs to be bigger and better, right? So, no, we're really ecstatic. The weather's been fantastic. The athletes have been tremendous throughout the week. And I think people are just having a great time. I mean, we have a ton of things to do for everyone.
Well, a lot went into the planning and obviously in preparation behind the scenes for this event, but also into bringing this event here to Maryland. Can you talk about that?
Well, Maryland has more horses per square mile than any other state. It has more eventing competitions than any other state, so it was a natural to try to bring it here. Fair Hill is beautiful. It's got a great history of eventing as well with Fair Hill International. So we were ecstatic when we won the bid, but it just made sense. And so you can see the crowds are really supporting it.
Well, you guys have also packed a lot of other things to do for people to come and enjoy, not just the horse sports or shopping, something for everybody to take home, and lots of local flavor and food. Talk about that as well.
Well, most exciting, we have a new champion in our Corgi Cup, so that was exciting. But we have a food fest today where we showcase local produce. We want the event to be a platform to showcase what Maryland has to offer. So we have a local beer, wine, and spirits festival as well. We have 125 retail shopping opportunities. So, again, just bring the family, bring the dog, and we got something for everyone.
All right, well, we hope to see you out here. This is an event you have to have on your bucket list for next year. We hope to see you in Elkton, Maryland. Back to you, Sinead and Ian.
Well, that is so wonderful, and I couldn't agree more. Here, Maryland, one of 7 5-star competitions in the world. We have 1 in France, 1 in Australia, 1 in Germany, 2 in Great Britain, and now 2 in North America. It is all to play for here, and we are getting close to crowning our champion, the 5th year running here at Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill. We get a look down in the warm-up of our competitors next to come. There a shot of New Zealander Janelle Price, her husband, a former winner here at the Maryland 5-star. As everybody gets ready for their ride, we take a look over at one of the main attractions, Great Wolf Lodge. There is fun for everyone as you howl, as Boyd Martin is howling down the slides there. There are slides, there is food, there is bowling, there is fun. Something for everyone. Here out at Maryland, we've got goats and ponies and kids having the time of their lives. So if you haven't been out here before, come check it out, get your wolf ears on, and get howling. I do not think there is an empty seat here, Ian.
No, the crowds are fantastic. They have been great all week. Yesterday cross country, they were lining around the course. So it was brilliant to see.
And here, next into the arena for Canada, Lindsay Transell on Basie Rouge. A bit of a tough start for Lindsay yesterday. She had some trouble getting into the box. Basie Rouge was so excited to get going, so started out not in an ideal way, but again, made it around her first 5-star. She has represented Canada at the Pan American Games. Will be very much looking towards the World Championships at Aachen next year, and coming off 2 hot wins at the 4-star level.
Yeah, difficult for her really when you're so late and getting into the start box and you're way down in the clock before you even get to the first fence. I've seen it in the past, and riders get very overexcited and then they go too fast and kind of blow it because they have a mistake. But she did a brilliant job. She kept cool and calm and kept positive, and the horse was responding. So it was great to see. She finished a brilliant round.
This a 14-year-old Self-Francais by My Lord Cafargo, owned by Patricia Pearson. Another one to take that fence.
Again, he was just a little bit high in his head, a little bit against the contact. It's very difficult with the final day of the 3-day event. You know, the horses are a little bit tired. It's a bit like driving your car with a flat tire. They're not quite as elastic and adjustable as they normally are, and it's very tempting to override from the hands and start to sort of look after them. And we have to remember they've got here because of their talent and their ability. We've got to just allow them to be soft and get on with their job. Our job, I always think as riders, is to be the perfect passenger and let the horse get on with it. But that's so much easier said than done. I wasn't very good at it, to be honest.
Well, he is, with that early rail, is really getting up in the air as she comes around to this final line.
Again, it's just got better as the round's gone on, this horse. The horses and riders look as though they're relaxing by the time they've gone halfway around.
So she'll be thrilled with that round. 1 rail to add and 0.4 of a time complete. She'll finish on 82.4 in a wonderful 5-star completion. What does that feel like to actually finish that 5-star?
I think it's the ultimate. It's what we're all aiming for. It's what we all get into the sport for, is to ride at the top level, at the 5-star level. And just to get out there and start is quite a special feeling. To actually complete is incredible, and then when you're in that position that Monica Spencer is in now, it's the position we all want to be in. And actually, once you get there, you feel quite sick. You really don't want to be there, but it's what you spend years and years and years training and building up for, and then you begin to wonder why the hell. But it's thrilling. I mean, it's just the pinnacle of the sport, and wow, does it feel good when you're at this level.
It absolutely does, and we have such a keen and actually very educated crowd. You know, yesterday out on the cross country, everybody was clapping and cheering, even when somebody wasn't finished with the complex yet, because they were so impressed and in awe of what these magnificent animals can do. And then to come back in here on such a careful day, as we have our next rider heading up that lonely chute into the arena. This is USA's Shannon Lilly and Haven Garrett. And she had a really spectacular day yesterday. This horse just over jumping so much in the beginning, and his wind caught up to him a little bit, but then he got a second wind blazing down that hill at the end of the track and finished out looking like $1,000,000. So a huge day for her as we welcome her into the final day of competition here at the Mars, Maryland.
I think that's a very good comment, Sinead. This horse, he was young, green, enthusiastic. She went quite a lot of long routes. She gave him a good experience, and he finished looking confident and looking happy. And you know, when you can do that at a 5-star, you know you've got a serious horse there underneath you. So, and look at him now; he's quite bright and alert, and doesn't look in any way tired. The horses, I mean, thanks to these incredible grooms that we have looking after our horses, the horses here are looking magnificent. They're all gleaming and beautifully turned out. And you wouldn't know they'd been cross-country yesterday.
And this horse, another young horse, just 11 years old. Shannon, originally from out on the West Coast, has represented the U.S. at the Pan American Games and had quite a bad back injury, and they actually told her she'd never ride again. Ended up selling a beautiful string of horses, and now she's back better than ever with some wonderful horses in her arsenal, wearing her lovely pink coat showing that she has represented Team USA.
And I don't want to jinx it, but he's given some incredible leaps out in here. He's got a lot of scope. A little bit of argument going on there on the approach to the double, but still jumping it, and his ears are permanently pricked, looking for the next fence, wanting to get on with it. He certainly doesn't look as though he's just been around a long, grueling 5-star cross-country yesterday, which is a true testament to the fitness of the horses and the preparation from the riders.
You know, this is another self-rancé, but a very different look than Lindsay's self-rancé that we just saw as she comes up to this triple bar. Michelle Valancourt saying, you know what, this is a real rider's line. They come around the corner and have to get the perfect distance to give the horses a chance to execute. And she looks like she might be working on a clear, Ian.
Yeah. I'm frightened to say anything in case I jinx her. No, brilliant round. You could see. Oh!
That was you.
No, it was definitely you. I'm going to tell her about you.
Oh, what a round for her. So disappointing. That is a max officer at the end of the track there. But a brilliant round. This is her second 5-star completion and one better than Kentucky. She had 2 down in this phase at Kentucky, and an unfortunate last rail here because he was showing all his scope, class, and fitness.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was very enthusiastic. He was really wanting to get on with it. He just comes to that last fence, jumps it well, and he really looked as though he was going to have, well, he certainly has the scope, he looked as though he was going to be clear, and he just came down a little bit early, and bad luck. But then you have to say, well, over the last fence, do we relax as riders? You know, and I think it can sometimes be last fence itis, having a pull down. But having said that, wow, what an exciting horse for the future. I mean, he really was showing all his ability there, and he's probably never been put through yesterday's cross country at that speed and distance before, and the fact that he's come out feeling so well now, and he's going to have grown up a lot from it, and it's incredible how they develop more stamina and yet relax more as they get on with it.
And here are past champions here at the 5-star. Back in 2021, it was USA's Boyd Martin and On Cue, then Tim Price. 2023, that fabulous finish, pulling all the way up from 12th place, Austin O'Connor, and we saw Tim Price's name there, and here his wife, Janelle Price. She enters the ring on Chile's Midnight Star. This another 11-year-old by the famous stallion Chile Morning, ridden by William Fox Pitt.
Yeah, it's the horse's first 5-star, and I think Janelle was a little disappointed that she had the 20 on the cross country, but yeah, she rode so well. She's such an experienced rider, but she rode this young horse so well and gave him the easy option at Pierre's Puzzle, and didn't do the top of the mound. And he just was a little bit surprised by the crab water towards the end of the course, but again, another horse that's very exciting for the future. Janelle said to me the first day she got here, she said, maybe I should be letting Tim ride this one, but the owners are longing for her to continue, and I think we all in the sport are wanting her to continue riding at this level as well.
Well, I think it's a big, strong horse, and albeit you meet Janelle Price, she is mighty. She is still a little lady, but I thought she was, like you said, phenomenal across the country, really educating this horse around his first 5-star, and he looks fit and fine today.
That's quite an interesting comment, a little lady. I wouldn't tackle half of you ladies that ride 5-star. On a dark evening. I think you'd frighten me off. Sorry, I probably offended half of the country now.
It's not hard to do as Janelle makes her way down that triple, and 2 fences left to go. The Maryland crowds on the edges of their seat. Is a clear round possible?
Beautifully ridden.
And well within the time, she will add nothing to her score. What a thrilling day. It is possible this course can be jumped clear, and this lady just proved that fact.
Yeah, that was quite special. No wonder she's smiling. But she is an out-and-out competitor. I mean, she just gets the best out of our horses. They all go beautifully for her. And that little mistake yesterday, I don't think we'll see that again with this partnership.
And he looks so rideable and good in this phase today. Maybe he just needed that 5-star to kind of,
yeah, well,
you know.
I think he's done about 3 or 4 4-stars. So you know, he's not inexperienced, but I think that was, you know, a step up for him, and I think he'll learn a lot from it.
So still early, but she is a top 10 right now as we look at that leaderboard as it stands. Janelle Price atop, followed by Caroline Pamuchku, and she will be guaranteed a top 10 as USA's Arden Wildison enters the ring. And Ian, this was such a fun round to watch yesterday.
It was brilliant, yeah. I mean, he sort of reminds me of a big pony. You know, he just gallops around and gets on with the job, and very enthusiastic and very positive. He was a little surprised by the puzzle fence, Pierre's Puzzle, but really he looked magnificent the whole way around.
At just 18 years young, this wonderful partnership has blazed around the upper levels for a while, and it's so nice to see the 2 of them here at Maryland.
You know, the fact that a horse like this is still competing at 5-star level at 18, it just shows the longevity of horses in this sport. You know, sometimes we get a bit of stick about asking too much and doing too much in the cross country, but look at him. He looks like a 6-year-old cantering around there, jumping and having fun. Oh.
The second time we've seen that come down.
Yeah. It's just that the turn to it, it's a little bit spooky in that corner, and I think the horses aren't quite soft enough around the turn, because he's really looking careful otherwise. Nice to see her give him a quick pat in the neck saying, come on boy, you're okay. Ooh. A little bit dived over that. Ah, that was unlucky. A little dived over the vertical and then just didn't quite make the spread.
You know, and this is a big ask, this triple at the end of the course here. We saw this ride earlier in the 3-star the other direction very early on in the track, and now really testing the horse's endurance.
Yeah, it is, but so far it's ridden quite beautifully, that line. As you turn from the corner, it looks pretty formidable.
So just 2 to add, and good on the clock. The crowd's going wild. She is going to be so excited to have this 5-star done and dusted with her amazing partner, known as Mumbles in the barn. All smiles as we get a look at this big brook ledge fence. Yeah, and see this again.
He spooked at it a little bit. That's why I had the oxer down after it.
Well, we are going to head down to Frankie, who is with Janelle Price.
Well, Janelle, we asked the question, can a double clean be done? And you answered yes. Tell us about that round in there.
Oh, look, yeah, delighted. I thought he jumped a super round. He is a good jumper, but he is an event horse, you know. He's not a jumper, but, you know, pleased he came through the rigours of yesterday. I think he'll have learnt a huge amount, and to come out and finish the week off like that was fantastic.
Well, speaking of yesterday, I mean, you've produced so many horses to this level. Now you add yet another one to the string. But what does it take to have a horse that can gallop around that track like you did yesterday and then come in here on the final day and keep those rails in the cups?
Yeah, it's not easy, but, you know, I do believe that this horse, you know, perhaps next year, he can really do something in all 3 phases, and those horses are few and far between. We saw some of those phenomenal thoroughbreds yesterday that just, you know, tore the course to pieces, but, you know, perhaps not so easy for them today, but, you know, he is a horse, I think, who can do all 3 phases.
Well, you have quite the string headed to post. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks to see you in America here, and you'll be on a plane back to compete more of your 5-star contingent at home. Good luck for you there.
Thank you, and a huge thank you to Mary Lynn, because if it wasn't for the grants they made available, we wouldn't be out here. So we're delighted to be here, and just really want to thank the community for having us.
All right, back to you guys.
It is such a huge thank you. Again, we love to see them making the trip out here. As into the arena, Taylor Mason and Centennial, another New Zealand rider based in the UK. Rides with Tim and Janelle Price. And she had quite a bit of work yesterday to do on the course.
Yeah, she did. But she answered the questions, you know. She's quite a gutsy competitor again. And if she's training with the Prices, it's not surprising. She could be in a better yard. And this horse looks as though he's really trying it here. He's got a conscience. He's being careful. This is quite a tricky line, this triple bar and then spooky vertical and a very big wide oxer. You survive that, and then you come round to the combination, which is right beside the grandstand. A little bit drifting to the right, or his right. But again, still being careful. He really tries. He's not the most correct horse in the world in his jumping and his technique. No.
She's looking to add nothing but to hold on to her place. She actually has 7 in hand, but she doesn't use one of them. I don't think she can.
Happy girl. I know. I think she's stunned. Brilliant job. Well done. Well ridden. She really did try there. You know, she was helping the horse, but she wasn't interfering. And look at that smile. That's what it's all about.
I think that smile is going to turn into some tears pretty quickly, but she definitely, really made that happen. She had to organize that. It's a different feel to come into the show jumping after running a 5-star the day before. You really have to manufacture some of the work here. This horse looks like a true eventing horse, and she really did it. Can't even believe it herself.
I know, it's just fantastic. And chatting to all the helpers, and still this enormous smile on her face. It's great to see.
And she'd like to take a picture of that, because right there she is in the top spot at this 5-star at Maryland, followed by trainer Janelle Price. And big pats as we welcome our next competitor into the arena, Sophia Hill, all the way from Australia on her thoroughbred Humble Glory. As we talked about yesterday, was the day for the thoroughbreds, as we get a look at where in the world there are 5-stars, and there are 2 here in North America. The pinnacle of sport. A big day for Sophia. She has competed at Burley, then went back to Australia, and then decided to make her way back here to Maryland, hoping for the course that was set before her yesterday.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. There's not quite such big entries into 5-stars these days as there used to be, but I think for me it's the pinnacle of the sport, and it's something that we need to keep working at, and everyone needs to be striving to get to this level, because the thrill at this level is indescribable. She's riding pretty fast forward, considering he's a thoroughbred horse, but he's really answering all the questions.
Yeah, I mean, he really has jumped to spare, especially after, he was so fast yesterday.
Yeah, and he's so good behind. He jumps, and you see him kicking the hind legs away, really wanting to clear these fences, wanting to get on with it. I'm such a thoroughbred man, always have been all my life, and it's great that we've had, I think, 3 thoroughbreds in the top few placings, which is just amazing. Because everyone said that, yeah, thoroughbreds are great, but they can't do dressage and they can't show jump. But I think here we've got one that's proving the doubters wrong. Look at the scope he's showing down that line.
This horse looked like he could be a straight show jumper. Our course designer, Michelle Valancourt, was the youngest in the show jumping to win a gold medal, and he won a gold medal in show jumping for Canada on a thoroughbred. And another clear round, easily inside the time. Sophia Hill and Humble Glory make the trip worthwhile, adding nothing to their dressage score of 46.2.
Just coming into the ring, whether it was a 5-star 3-day event or not, just coming into a ring like this and jumping a clear round is a major achievement. To do it after the cross country is quite exceptional, and we've had 3 of them showing us that it can be done.
What an athlete. That's all, when you watch this horse jump, you think of, he's just got wings. Easily clears that max 130 boxer.
It's a great feeling to be jumping these fences on a horse that really wants to clear them. Some of them are a little bit lax on the final day of a 3-day event, and they don't mind doing the odd rub, and they don't hit them hard, they just rub them and they come out of these very shallow cups. But that horse was well above everything.
Well, we are going to go to a short break. Right here is how we see it. Sophia Hill sits on top of the leaderboard, but come back and see us shortly here at Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more.
Gentlemen, come with me.
If you know anything, tell me.
Ready? Well, then we best get started.
This is way over my head.
You're playing a dangerous game, boss. Where does this end?
I don't know.
be a busy night. This is only the start.
The 988 helpline provides immediate emotional support to people across Central Maryland. The helpline is free, confidential, and calls and texts are answered 24/7. Learn more at 988helpline.org.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M. Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
We invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Maryland Department of Commerce and Tourism, Maryland Department of Natural Resources, Maryland Department of Agriculture, and Maryland Horse Industry Board.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star, presented by Brown Advisory, is being brought to you by Lemieux, technically advanced gear for horse and rider. By Great Wolf Lodge. Bring your pack together at the newest and largest Great Wolf Lodge, now open in Perryville, Maryland. And by Yanmar, compact equipment, together we build.
Well, welcome back to Mars Maryland 5-Star. Well, it is all happening, but we go down to the third member of our team who has Taylor for a little word.
Yeah, I'm down here with Taylor and her very excited mom, and rightfully so, because a trip well worth it. Taylor, talk about first, you guys had to raise a lot of money to get here, and a lot of people behind that supporting you.
Yes, I'm just overwhelmed with all the support and so grateful for everyone. It really took a village to get me here, and some amazing people that are so generous. And you know, I said it on the first day, I owe it to them, and you know, I hope I made them all proud today, me and Chase. Yeah.
Well, it's quite an effort to just get here, but then to go ahead and compete as you did here, a huge successful trip for you. It's your first time coming to America, so just what it was like to get to be here in Cecil County.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Everyone has been so welcoming and helpful, and I've loved it. So, I mean, I'd love to come back again if I could ever make it work.
Well, if you're on the fence, Taylor gives it a rave review. Safe to say that?
Yeah.
And Mom, for you to see your daughter so successful here in this event and at this 5-star level, I mean, absolutely incredible athletes out there, and what it's like to be here to support her.
Oh, look, I'm so proud of Taylor and Chase. You know, he was born in my front paddock out of my mare, and it's just been a journey. He's taken us around the world as well, and I'm just so excited, and I'm so pleased that we've got his full brother at home.
All right, well, a family affair down here. Back to you guys, Sinead and Ian.
Well, Frankie also got to catch up with the president and CEO of Brown Advisory, Mike Henkin, and we'll hear what he has to say.
Mike, welcome back to the 5th year of the Maryland 5-Star. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Good. It's really good to be here. It's a beautiful day. Look out. Gosh, it looks beautiful. It's green. Ground is good. It's soft, not too soft. It's exciting. We're expecting probably upwards of 30,000 people again. I just think about it, in 5 years, what's been created here. It seemed difficult along the way, but probably no big surprise when you think about the big picture. We have a very talented team led by Jeff Newman, tremendous support by the state of Maryland and Cecil County, and an incredible venue.
For those viewers watching at home and in the stadium here, as you're on the big screen now, tell us about your involvement and Brown Advisory's involvement with this event so far.
We've been lucky to have this wonderful relationship with the equine sport. And what we love about it is that it's a community of people that love the sport, are brought together because of their passion for horses, and horses doing incredible things that they're naturally bred to do. And it's just a good way to meet people. It's also a great way to support the community, because these events, whether they're steeplechase races or 3-day events, mean a lot to the community. They employ a lot of people, they entertain a lot of people, they produce tax dollars, and so we're privileged to be part of that. So we're the presenting sponsor with Mars here, and it's just great to be here. We'll have some of our guests, but also we'll get to meet a lot of new people.
Something you mentioned a couple of times there is community. Obviously, local community, state of Maryland, very close to your heart when putting on events like this or being involved with events like this.
Yeah. The equine industry is a big deal in Maryland. It produces an economic impact of roughly $3 billion. It employs just under 30,000 people. And so it's a very important industry, and we are very conscious of our responsibility of supporting those players that employ people and help people put food on the table every day. So it's a big deal. We think about it a lot.
And just finally, specific to the event over the next few days, what are you looking forward to most?
Excitement. The horse is an amazing animal, and the people have come together to see horses perform at their highest level. And it's there'll be some disappointments, but there will also be somebody that sneaks through, and it's a combination of that rider, that horse on that day that gets around the show jumping at the end with a clear round. It'll be exciting, so we can't wait.
Well, we couldn't do it without the support of our sponsors, and so wonderful to hear from them at Brown Advisory. But it was some exciting stuff here a little earlier in the day. While the famous stars of the show, they're almost more stars than the horses, these Corgis came out and raced their little hearts out. And we have a newly crowned champion this year of the 2025 Corgi races at the 5-star at Maryland.
Oh, there's a bit of kick set up and ready here. Heat number 9 coming up. She on down the outside there. We've got green and red pushing on down, orange and yellow just behind. Who's it going to be? Oh, we'll have to get confirmation on our second place finish, but it looks like green has done enough to win of this heat.
And we are back to Mars, Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. There we have a look at the leaderboard so far. Sophia Hill on top there with Taylor Mason following closely behind. Janelle Price and USA's Arden Wilderson there. We get a look down at Caroline Pamuchku, who will join us with her Paris partner, HSH Blake. Next, 6 more horses to jump in this 5-star to determine who will be the 2025 champion. All remaining riders here. We will see USA's Caroline Pamuchku, followed by Boyd Martin, then Jenny Brannigan in FE Lifestyle, then the lovely Thoroughbred Phelps with Mia Farley. Sitting in second position, Felix Vogue, and then Monica Spencer will close us out with her beautiful Thoroughbred Artist. The course has claimed some victims today, but there have also been a few clear rounds. So we know it is possible to jump around Michelle Valancourt's 5-star track here over the beautiful Atwood Footing Arena. The crowds are filling up, and Ian, what a day as we look at a total prize purse of $300,000. First place, $100,000. Second, a swift drop down to $40,000, followed by $35,000, $25,000, and $20,000. A pole will cost a lot of money today, Ian.
It certainly does, and I know they'll all be trying to get that first prize money, because it's a serious boost to these riders and looking after these horses. It's a fairly expensive sport, and to keep a string of horses on the road, so any bit of prize money always helps. And with Caroline here and Blake, what impressed me yesterday about this horse was that he won the Pan Am Games 2 years ago, and then he went to Paris last year. But he's just matured and strengthened, and he looks like a more grown-up horse. And I know it's his first 5-star, but much more power and spring. And I watched him this morning. Caroline was giving him a little bit of a jump just to loosen him up and make sure he's feeling good, and he was really pinging and trying over these firm fences. So let's hope he's got all the energy left for now.
She was clear on the jumping efforts yesterday, adding just 11.2 time penalties for, again, her first attempt at 5-star, even though she's represented the United States at the Pan American Games and Olympics. This will be her first 5-star with this lovely 10-year-old.
And he's always been very good in this phase, Blake. But as I say, he's stronger, and it just looks as though he's got a little bit more power and a little bit more scope to play with. And that's a sign of a real good top horse. They develop and they grow and they mature and they get better and better. Rattle in front there, which is it's quite nice to have the odd little rub and the pole doesn't come down. It just reminds the horse that you've got to pick their feet up, but he really is trying, and he's been particularly good behind in this round and really operated at the final element of that combination there.
Well, moving around to the last line here. Clock looks good. One more jump left to jump. And she does it. Lance is behind her within the time. She adds nothing to the score from yesterday's cross country, and that will mean a big day for her as she moves to the top of the leaderboard, finishing her first 5-star with HSH Blake on a 39.4, really delivering this week.
And I think the good thing about that round is, you know, when you're watching it, you could relax and enjoy it. You never felt anxious. You know, the horse was really spot on. Caroline had him on the right spot at the right pace, in the right gear, and the right enough impulsion. He was jumping and it looked effortless. So you didn't think, oh, gosh, he was lucky there or lucky here. No wonder she's punching the air.
She is thrilled. And, you know, it's an interesting track, Ian, because there isn't, she kisses baby girl Blake, named after HSH Blake. Kelly Hutchinson, their business partner, husband Dennis. Such a great day for her and a way to wrap this up. But the course, it's a one-track course. There's not really anywhere to cut off time or shave in or make it a different type of line. You just have to keep that nice rhythm up and keep the poles there as we welcome to the arena Boyd Martin and Commando 3. And I was there last week and got to see what we're about to watch. Is this man not only dominate the U.S. Open Series, but win the final. He blazed around the track, came in second place, laid down a clear round on the final day, and ended up being the 2025 U.S. Open champion. So he comes into the arena here with this lovely 12-year-old owned by Yankee Creek Ranch LLC, Commando 3.
This is a horse that I've coveted for the last 2 or 3 years, I have to say. He's a very special animal, a lot of ability. He's very capable of winning all these 5 stars. He's got a great future ahead of him.
So yesterday, clear on the jumping, 8 time penalties to add. Where up at the water complex, he ended up needing to take a long route there, which racked up a few time penalties. Also took the long route at Pierre's Puzzle after having an unfortunate parting of ways on Loop 140 earlier in the day there. Decided to play it safe with Commando as he heads to the first jump.
Yeah, the judgment you have to make as a rider, you know, when he was riding 2 horses, but he had that unfortunate parting of company that Pierre's Puzzle, but he made the choice and decision to go long, and it does no harm sometimes to just make sure the horse stays confident and secure, and you have a good ride, even if you've got a few time penalties. Got to keep the horse on side, and I think Boyd did a brilliant job of that. He looks full of energy and enthusiasm, and yet still relaxed and jumping correctly. Rub again.
Gets up in the air there. Boyd spends a lot of time show jumping with Peter Wild. Can hear a pin drop.
That line, difficult though it is, has jumped quite brilliantly all afternoon.
To the last fence. He just looked like he hesitated on takeoff, but got up in the air. Sorry about my gasp.
I was chilled, but you weren't.
I have to gasp at least 1 5-star a year, and left all those poles up, adding nothing to the score he came in on. He will finish with a fault-free jump around and end his 5-star here on a 38.3. Delivering an exciting round here, putting a bit of the pressure on the riders in front of him.
We were talking about the course, and I have to say it's a great course. The horses are jumping it well. There's nothing trappy about it. It's just get out there and ride correctly and let your horse do the job.
Well, there we see Boyd Martin atop of that leaderboard. USA's in Paris. Compadre, Caroline Pamuchku, right behind him there. Sophia Hill, Taylor Mason. All will be guaranteed top 10 finishes. Big smile on Boyd. He is pleased to have delivered that round as he gives Jenny Brannigan a high five as she heads in to do the job. An emotional finish yesterday for Jenny. She's had some tough luck in the last little while. She was at the U.S. Open last week, and before she even headed out on the box, had a parting of company and actually fractured her leg. So she's been walking around in a boot all week. Was slated to ride 2 horses here at the 5-star, but decided to keep all of her energy and focus on Foxy. She's trying to tell the crowd to be a little quiet. Foxy's a sensitive guy, but they just can't hold their excitement in. Jenny comes in with FE Lifestyle on a 36.4.
And this horse has done quite a few 5-stars now, but I have to say yesterday, Lifestyle and Jenny just looked amazing. It was a brilliant ride, even with her fractured foot. She just kept her cool, and the two of them looked as though they were meant to be there and found it all rather straightforward. Oh, and the first fence is gone.
Oh, it's going to take all of her focus. She's got a lot more jumps to jump. Jenny is so good in this phase. She spends a lot of time on the show jumping. And Ian, it really looked like an unlucky rail.
Yeah, I just wondered, I thought she'd gone a little bit far to the right and was starting to turn on the takeoff. And I maybe I'm wrong, but I just thought she was trying to help the horse and just a little bit paid the penalty. He's probably going to go and jump an immaculate round now, but there's nothing more frustrating than having the first fence down, because it puts pressure on the horse and rider to not have another one. And we all know Jenny is great in this phase, and the horse is pretty good in this phase.
That this horse has a huge stride. You can see Jenny really having to make sure that he stays within himself, that he doesn't get down the lines too easy. Gets low over that, but it stays in the cup, so she moves around towards the last 2 fences. Gives him a perfect gap there as she moves towards the last one. Yeah. And she keeps it at just that one rail.
That's a pity. They didn't deserve that, because they've had such a good week, and you can see how well they're jumping, and had a great cross country, and the dressage is phenomenal. So but that's the sport, sadly.
And that will drop her down 2 places behind Boyd Martin and behind Caroline Pamuchku. But she will still be guaranteed a top 10 finish. And a really, really good week for her. I mean, just put a lot of wrongs right. And, you know, a rail can happen to anyone. But she has had such a classy weekend. So we will come back with our top 3 here to decide what the podium order will be. We have Boyd Martin on top right now. Caroline Pamuchku sits in 2nd place. And join us back here at Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, to see who will be the champion.
Maryland's agriculture roots run deep.
This is a thing that brings us all together. We're all dependent on our farmers.
That's awesome looking.
I know.
We're growing so much more than fish. We're growing so much more than plants.
Every farm has a story to tell.
You're working toward a larger goal. And it keeps us busy January through April.
It's a team effort. Cheers, Lloyd.
We have it all every week on Maryland Farm and Harvest. Watch on MPT or stream on the PBS app.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more.
University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. In today's search for environmental solutions, trust the institution with 100 years of pioneering research in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and around the world.
The Mars Maryland 5-Star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
For tempting you to crack into new foods. For helping you build epic memories. You're welcome. Come experience more in Maryland. Go to visitmaryland.org.
The Maryland Department of Natural Resources is proud to sponsor and host the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill. Maryland state parks and natural resource areas provide ideal places to bring your family, friends, and horses. We are honored to welcome you to our trails.
Well, welcome back to Mars Maryland 5-Star. Everything is happening here today in the show jumping arena. We have 3 left to jump to see who will stand atop of that podium to be crowned the 2025 Mars 5-Star champion. As we see the standings as they are, Boyd Martin jumped a beautiful clear to be on top right now, followed by another beautiful clear round by Olympian Caroline Pamuchku, followed by Jenny Brannigan, who had 1 pole down, then Sophia Hill from Australia, Taylor from New Zealand, and Janelle Price rounds out our top 6 as we take a look at one of our top sponsors here, Mars Equestrian.
We're so excited to be back as the title sponsor of the Mars Maryland 5-Star. It's the perfect venue to showcase our brands and what Mars is all about. We're so excited to bring everybody to our Mars World of Mars experience, where we've got something for everybody. We believe that the world is better with our pets in it, so we want to make sure that the pets are receiving all the same love and attention as our spectators and fans. We wouldn't have this sport if it weren't for the horse, so we have to look after them and put them first always. And with that, Mars is dedicated to supporting the veterinarians and the vet teams through our Antec and Sound diagnostics.
Antec is one of the world-leading veterinary diagnostic companies. We offer reference lab services, in-house diagnostics, and then we also have Sound Imaging, which is one of the leading providers of digital X-ray, CT machines, and ultrasounds. Antec is very committed to supporting the equine industry and equine veterinarians, so we've provided all of the in-house diagnostic analyzers here and free testing for all of the horses to make sure that they have the best care so that they can have the best event.
We are using the Antec and the sound materials and technologies on a daily basis. So with the Antec blood machines, we're running complete blood counts, or CBCs, and we're running serum chemistries to basically prophylactically double check each horse's health. Having the technology on site is a game changer, right? So we can absolutely go to a horse's stall, take a blood sample, come back and have an answer about that horse's health within 10 minutes, rather than driving to another reference laboratory and waiting possibly over a day to get those results. So we have real-time stall side analysis available, and we have real-time injury prevention. So it's been an absolute game changer for us.
With the Equine Veterinary Hospital, we want to make sure that we're providing the best in care for the equine athlete on site. So having everything here, the technical support and imaging to ensure the welfare and health of the horse is first and foremost.
Horse welfare and the social license to compete is everywhere. We are all here to support the horse.
It gives purpose to who we are and what we do. We believe that horses make the world a better place. We're in this for the long haul. We're so excited to be a part of it, to give back to the community. We want to see smiling faces, and we believe the way we do that is to all come out here and support this sport together and enjoy the best in the sport.
So there they are, the final three to jump today at the Mars, Maryland, getting ready to see what order they will finish their day in. Monica Spencer on the beautiful artist. But earlier today was this lady, Olivia Dutton, who kept the third place in our three-star competition. It was the young guns that held the podium as they jumped a beautiful clear, and then it was all the pressure on this lady, Alyssa Phillips, and her new ride, Rocket, and she delivered to put a lot of pressure on the overnight leader, Isabel Bosley, who came into the arena with Connor, and she jumped the most immaculate clear round to cinch the three-star championships here at Mars, Maryland. And Frankie had a chance to catch up with our first crown champion of the day.
Well, our champion today in the three-star division, and Isabel, it was an absolutely brilliant performance. What was it like to be the champion?
Absolutely speechless still over it. It was a pretty incredible feeling, and I mean, just seeing all my friends and family around that have come out for this event, it just made it all the more special. I just can't even put it into words right now, honestly.
Well, you grew up right here, and you said to me earlier, as you were galloping around that ring on your victory lap, you looked into the stands and saw a lot of familiar faces. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's so special. I knew all, my core people would be here that were coming out, but then to see all these people there that I had no idea were even coming, I mean, it really made me so emotional all of a sudden, and, I felt kind of all the support all through the week over social media and all of that, but to have everyone live there cheering for you, I mean, it's really, I just feel really lucky to have that in my corner.
Well, you've watched this event progress over the years, and what do you think it is like now in order to not just compete here, but to have this locally for you guys and for the United States?
I mean, it's incredible, and this is such a spectacular venue, and it's so perfect for the horses. Like they're just so happy competing here, and to have this locally and tie in with all the racing, I just think it's you couldn't have it in a better place, and they're just every year making it better and better, and it gives me a ton of confidence personally with this three-star track. We're like moving on next year, so it's a great way to end the season.
Well, leading dominantly from start to finish, that is Isabel Bosley, your 2025 three-star champion.
Back down at the warm-up, there she is, the lady that will come into the arena in the final position today, looking to have her first five-star win. Many predicted it was meant to happen. They just weren't sure when, and can today be the day for New Zealand's Monica Spencer and her beautiful thoroughbred artist. Well, there we have a look at Michelle Valancourt's beautiful show jumping track. The crowds are filled up. The day is beautiful, and three left to compete here. Mia Farley on the wonderful thoroughbred Phelps. Then we have Felix Vogue and Cartania, that fabulous mare we saw gallop across the country yesterday, and on a 23.7, just one rail in hand, Monica Spencer. But here, the legend, Mia Farley and Phelps, this 12-year-old thoroughbred owned by David O'Connor. This horse bought for $1, and I think the best dollar ever spent, Ian.
Yeah, without doubt. But I saw Mia and this horse a few years ago here doing the 3-star, and I made the comment, that's a nice horse, but it's not going to go any further. And yeah, 2 years later, she was the one and only inside the time 2 years ago in the 5-star, and in the Horse and Riders 5-star debut. So, and wow, was he phenomenal yesterday. He looked amazing. She went the long way at Pierre's Puzzle and still made the time cross country. He's just a little galloping machine.
He really is. This phase would be a tricky phase for him. Back in 2023, she had 2 down in this phase, but Mia is so good in the show jumping. She will use all of her skill to navigate this track, and wouldn't it be something if she could keep those poles in the cups?
It would be fantastic, but she does, you're quite right, she's pretty good in this phase. She helps the horse, but she sits very quietly. She doesn't really hassle the horse at all. She lets it get into a rhythm. He has the odd little bit of argument on the approach, but just quietly stroke that out.
She does have the one rail in hand. She can keep it to that. She can maintain her position.
She's also got such a cool head, because she never looks as though she gets flustered. The horse has the pole down. She doesn't panic, and that's another one away.
And unfortunately, 3 down there.
3 down, yeah.
These poles are such careful, light material. You just can't touch them. This is why he's such a fast and good cross-country horse, but this is a difficult phase for her as a 4th pole goes.
Yeah, hugely disappointing for her, because she is a real superstar of the future, an incredible rider, and Phelps is a great little horse, and he must give her such a thrill cross-country. Disappointing in here in the show jumping for her.
So she will round out her day on a 48.6, currently having her in 5th position. She can't, the competitor in her can't help but be disappointed. You always have that hope coming in, but this a hard phase for this horse. But like you said, Ian, this horse has brought her to this level. It really made her a household name in the eventing community, and yesterday she captured the hearts of everyone for the 2nd time here at Maryland. And
yeah, she's still smiling, frustrated that David, his owner, giving him a pat as well. It's so disappointing. We've all been there. We've all in the lead at a big competition, and the show jumping catches you out. And the modern event horse, I think, is probably, because they're bred to show jump or do dressage, they're probably a little bit more careful in the show jumping. But we've seen thoroughbreds already today jump clear rounds. It can be done.
Yep, and there's one there that we hope to see jumping a clear round after this man. He knows he's now got even a little bit more breathing room as he comes into the arena on his lovely 14-year-old mare, Steiner by Cartani, out of Zshatsi by Clinton.
He's got 2 fences in hand over Boyd.
He added nothing to his dressage score yesterday. Actually, our top 3 riders all inside the time.
This partnership did look very special in the cross country. They were just springing around that course.
Very efficiently moves down the line to this upright vertical that is going quite close to that screen, but the horses haven't seemed to notice.
It looks as though it's got a lot of scope and a big stride, but doesn't always go up in the air. Gets a little flat at times over the fences. So he's going to have to keep sitting quietly, give the horse a chance to jump.
No, this isn't her easiest phase. He's worked quite hard. His last international did have a clear jumping, but it was with the show jumping before the cross country.
So more scope over that fence. Certainly the scope is not in doubt. It's just whether they want to leave these fences up. Well ridden there.
You can hear him using his voice, knowing that any pole here could widen the gap for our next rider. He wants to put the pressure on her. Gets a little upside down coming to that vertical, but one more to jump. And he does it at 0.4 on the clock, but well worth it for a clear jumping, and that will definitely put the pressure on Monica. He can do no worse than second place in this 5-star division, definitely making the trip worth the while for him, as he will finish his day and his week here at Maryland on his dressage score of a 28.7. Actually, I take that back. He did add, I believe, 0.4. But I think he had it in hand.
0.4 is nothing compared to a pole coming down. So.
That's why I just erased it in my mind. It was so irrelevant for me, I subtracted it from his score.
So lucky there, because he really had to help the horse and shorten it, but he gave the horse the freedom of rein to still use its head and neck, and he rattled the front of that last oxer, but got away with it.
I mean, that, sometimes you need a bit of luck. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I think he had a bit of luck there. But all smiles as we look at that leaderboard as it stands. Felix Vogt in that first position. Again, then followed by Boyd Martin, then Caroline Pamuchku, and in fourth, Jenny Brannigan. But we have one more competitor to enter the arena, and she has just one, but she does have one rail in hand.
Yeah. Pressure's on.
Like you said, it is a place that you spend your days and night, a position you want to be in, but once you're there, it is nerve-wracking. But she gives artist Max, as he's known in the barn, a big pat. You see her take a deep breath out. She knows that there is opportunity in front of her, but she also knows she has a bit of her work cut out for her. Beautiful shot there.
Yeah, it becomes all these hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people around the ring, and it becomes a very lonely place in there when you're in this position. But Monica was very good. She went right up to that corner before the combination, the spooky corner, made sure the horse was relaxed and wasn't sort of stressing about spooking. And she, like Jenny Brown again, was trying to get the crowds not to cheer. And very difficult because everyone's so impressed with them and they want to show their appreciation, but the riders don't want their horses to get it.
Gives the first one a little rattle.
Yeah.
A nice good gap there. This horse has a nice style, but he doesn't always get up in the air.
No, and he's probably a little bit rattle again. He's probably better just keeping him off the fences a little bit. But if you do that, they can encourage him to just flatten. That's the only problem.
That's a very short 5.
Oh.
So there's the
That's
one rail. Oh.
That's gone as well. That's so disappointing.
With that last rail there, she does move down the leaderboard, giving the win of this 5-star to Felix Vogt. Two left to jump.
And she's jumped well, the horse. It's just disappointing.
Back in 2023 when she was here, she had 2 down in There, she's still smiling, and there is your winner right there, winning the 5-star. He knows it. All smiles, but the crowd is still clapping and cheering for Monica Spencer, who will move into the second place position on a 31.7. Felix Vogt will win the competition on a 28.7. And I mean, Monica is such a sportsman. You know, she gives him a pat. She knows. With how well he came out this week, I have no doubt she'll be in this position again.
I hope you're right. I think Monica and this incredible horse deserve the big 5-star win. We all hoped it was going to happen today, but not to be. But well done, Felix, because that's a relatively inexperienced horse, and he did a great job. He's been performing in all 3 phases, and that's what it's all about. We can have her. He's a happy chappy.
Yeah, big hug from Janelle there. There's got to be no better feeling than that 5-star win, and he just kept knocking at the door, Ian. He just kept putting in the performances, stayed within reach after the dressage, and you know what? There hasn't been a winner at this competition that's come from leading the dressage.
No, well, we all want to be. I think people put an extraordinary amount of work into the dressage, and we all want to be leading there. But leading can just put its own pressure on. It's much easier to come from behind and surprise people with a clear round when you're not got the major pressure on.
Well, we have our leaderboard here. In first place, Felix Vogt and Cartagena. In second, Monica Spencer from New Zealand and Artis. USA, Boyd Martin. USA, Caroline Pamuchku. USA, Jenny Brannigan and Effie Lifestyle. Rounding off the top 6, Sophia Hill and her thoroughbred Humble Glory, all the way from Australia. There, our leader, getting his interviews. And we are going to head out to a commercial break, but stay with us as we crown our champion, Felix Vogt, here at the Mars Maryland 5-star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory.
The 988 helpline provides immediate emotional support to people across Central Maryland. The helpline is free, confidential, and calls and texts are answered 24/7. Learn more at 988helpline.org.
Chesapeake Collectibles always has surprises in store.
I've got to find out.
Look at what we've found for season 12.
I think my jaw dropped.
Our experts examine the details.
This is one incredible find.
And viewers share treasured memories.
Every time I read the poem, it brings tears to my eyes.
Every week on Chesapeake Collectibles.
Wow.
Watch on MPT or stream on the PBS app.
The Maryland Horse Library and Education Center in Reisterstown offers a special collection of over 5,000 equine-related volumes. Monthly events include panel discussions, author talks, and book signings. Visit marylandhorse.com to learn more. The Mars Maryland 5-star would like to thank Mars Equestrian and the Mars family of brands for their support. Mars Equestrian, Buckeye Nutrition, Ethel M. Chocolates, Nutro, Pedigree, Antec, and Sound.
Embark on a culinary journey along the banks of the Upper Chesapeake Bay. Discover Cecil County, Maryland, where food and adventure bring people together. Pull up a chair. We're waiting for you. Visit us at discovercecil.com.
We'd like to thank the following partners: Mars Equestrian, Brown Advisory, Cecil County, Maryland Sports Commission, and Maryland Stadium Authority.
The Mars Maryland 5-star, presented by Brown Advisory, is being brought to you by Mars Equestrian, a better world for horses, pets, and people. By Brown Advisory, invest in the present to raise the future. and by Quarry View Building Group, experts in equestrian, commercial, timber frame, and restoration projects.
Well, welcome back to Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fairhill, presented by Brown Advisory, where a new champion is about to be crowned. It was Felix Vogt who delivered the much-needed clear round to secure the win here today in the show jumping arena. It is a beautiful day here as we get a look at the final standings here. We have Felix Vogt on top, followed by New Zealand's Monica Spencer. USA rounds out the top three with Boyd Martin, followed by Olympian Caroline Pamuchku in 5th place, Effie Lifestyle, Jenny Branikin, and finishing the top 6, Sophia Hill on her thoroughbred Humble Glory. Behind her, another American thoroughbred, Mia Farley and Phelps, then Taylor Mason, followed by Coach Janelle, and in 13th place, Canada's Lindsay Tranzel and Basie Rouge. And Frankie is with our winner.
Well, Felix, an absolutely brilliant performance here today. First of all, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Mars Maryland champion, Felix Vogt. What did it feel like to go in there with all that pressure on and deliver this round with this brilliant mare?
Oh, yeah, it was some pressure, but I know she can do it, and it was a bit out of my hands. I mean, Monica was quite in the lead, but yeah, she tried so hard, and how is it always like in life? Yeah, if you need a woman, a strong woman, she's there. Yeah?
Well, you guys have traveled a far way to get to be here, and what the overall experience has been like, besides obviously this huge win for you.
Oh, the whole trip was a win. I mean, I was so motivated already last week. It's going a bit end of the season. You get a bit tired, but I was really, really motivated, on fire for this week. And the people here are so nice and welcoming. Like the whole trip, like even you come second or third or just be here, it's great. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Well, you've won one time before at this level, and now you make it to the only Swiss rider to ever win 2 times in history. How does that feel?
Great. I mean, there are not many otherwise. I think we are only 2. So yeah, the other one is a quite big legend. I think he won first time badminton, but yeah, to win twice, absolutely amazing. Hopefully it's not the last time.
Well, you'll get a big prize money pot to take home in addition to a lot of other plethora of prizes. But one final thing we have to do, thanks to our sponsors, 5 Gum. You were able to stimulate everyone's senses here on site, and we present you with this 5 Gum. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for Felix Vogt.
Well, here we have a beautiful shot there of the horses getting decorated and dressed in their beautiful ribbons as we move towards our MagnaWave Pulse of the Day. It was this man who came in and delivered a clear round for USA to secure a podium finish in 3rd place with his partner, Commando. And then adding 2 rails to her time, she ended up finishing in the 2nd place position. A beautiful picture Monica Spencer and artist painted as they came to this final fence to finish out in 2nd place at the Maryland 5-Star. But it was this man who delivered a pressure-filled clear round with his lovely mare, left all the rails in the cups to secure his 2nd 5-star win. He will be the 2025 Mars Maryland 5-Star champion. And that is your MagnaWave Pulse of the Day. And what a day it was, what a week it was here in Cecil County. We saw everything from chilly weather to fascinating competition. The crowds came out to watch these beautiful horse and rider combinations tackle Pierre Leguple's first attempt and successful attempt at the 5-star track yesterday. We had Michelle Valancourt design this beautiful, perfect 5-star track today, and it is all smiles as we get ready for the award ceremony to hand over the prizes to that man there, Felix Vogt, our champion. Such a great shot of everybody getting ready. There are those windy flags and those amazing corgis. And we welcomed everyone this week, and if you don't have Maryland 5-star on your calendar, make it in the books for next year. What a competition it was as we crowned Felix Vogt, your 2025 Mars Maryland 5-star champion here at Fair Hill, a competition presented by Brown Advisory.